The Chris Cummins Ride Guide.
It's Olympic season, and at the Olympics my favourite events are always the track cycling events. I'm a huge cycling fan, but I've never been on a track. Now I want to emulate my heroes at the Olympics, and here in Vienna there's a fantastic velodrome, and I'm going to get a lesson in track cycling from Fritz Magic Berein.
Now a mechanic at mountainbiker.at, Magic spent 18 years as a cycling pro, hamstring 6 Austrian titles and multiple World Championships appearances. A Woody Harrelson lookalike with legs like lightning. If anyone can get me going on the track, Magic's the man. But before we start speeding around the oval-shaped track, Magic has to show me the small but important differences between a normal road bike and the snazzy track bike he's lent me for the session.
Well, Chris, it looks like a road bike, but the main difference is, if you see, we don't have any brakes and we don't have any shifting. So we have a fixed gear here, a fixed gear ratio, which you define before you start to ride. And so you see we have no free wheel. So the pedals are always moving. As long as you or the bike are moving, the wheels, the pedals are also moving. You see there are no brake levers, no shifting levers. You don't need that on the track bike, because you don't have any reason, no cross traffic, no traffic lights, no stop signs. So you always go on the track. You know, since you don't even, when you ride, you don't even have the feeling that you have turns on the track. Of course you have, but the banking of the track pushes you into the right direction, so you're always going straight.
Yeah, the most daunting thing I've noticed about track cycling is that the track is not flat. There's a 45-degree slope, so you're cycling always on a slant. You have to pick up speed to get onto the racing line, and if you were to brake and go less than around 30 kilometers per hour, gravity would make you slip down the track.
Right, that's the issue here. Of course, you know, since the track is really smooth and you don't have wind here, you don't have any cross traffic, so it's easier. Also, that because you have no shifting, it's easier to come to the right speed. You need, depending on the weight, I need a little bit more speed, you a little less, but let's say about 33 kilometers per hour enough.
When I first arrived at the velodrome, the sight of the sloping track and the idea of being clipped in on a sideways incline with no brakes made me terrified. But actually, it feels very stable once I'm up there and riding around. It's an awful lot of fun. I feel a new addiction kicking in. But these are early days.
If the track has a good geometry like the Viennese one, you very fast feel very familiar, very at home at it. You did the right thing. When you approach the track, you had respect but no fear. And I have to say, you're a natural, Chris. You did very well, and we've been already in the middle of the track. I think we can go at the next step now. Our next target is to go to the top of the track.
Magic says track cycling is a very pure form of cycling, a great place to learn essential skills.
You learn to ride the fine line, you learn the steering, the pedaling, you learn efficiency, you learn how to put yourself in the right position to go faster, you learn to ride very efficient, and due to the fixed gear, it's also common that you ride on the track with a higher cadence, which is good for your motional skills.
I'm interested in the curious lines on the lower sections of the tracks, lines that seem to play a big role when I'm watching my heroes and heroines compete at the Olympics.
So the thick blue line is called the Côte d'Azur. You know, it's not part of the race track, it's just the area where you can approach the track or leave the track. The track starts actually, or which the space we use is beginning at the black line. The black line is the pursuit line, which also defines the length of the track. Here in Vienna we have 250 meters per lap. The red line above defines the corridor for the sprinter. So later on when we are competing, remember, Chris, that on the last 200 meters before the finish line, the one who enters first this corridor between the black line and the red line is not allowed to leave it again. But it also belongs to you, which means that I'm the one who's racing you. I am not allowed to overtake you on the inside, where it would be easier because the way would be shorter. So I have to go on the outside. But you are also not allowed to leave this corridor on the last 200 meters.
It is cycling, but it feels different. important. It's the relentless pedalling, the intensity of the experience. So, what makes a good track cyclist?
He has to have finesse and raffinesse, so the tactic skills are very important. Of course, it's a combination of raw power, pure speed, and you need to be able mentally to dig really deep, to go over the line. I still can remember the first pursuit race I did on the track. The first was a qualifying for the World Championships, and I went far into the red zone, far out there, and my first thoughts when I crossed the line said, "No, God, I'm never going to do that again. Keep the bikes, everything. I don't want to do that again." But after a short time of recovery, of course, I had the focus because I saw I could be fast.
And not wanting to sound overly esoteric, as I rode, even though my pulse was racing, I started feeling a sort of zen-like calm.
I totally agree. There's absolutely some mental things going on here on the track. Everything is very constant. You don't have some rough changes. That's also a reason why you don't need brakes here. You just go at the speed. You change the speed. Of course, you get faster or slower, but everything goes fine here.
I have to admit that after 20 minutes, my thighs are already burning. It makes me think of the tree trunk legs of track cycling legend Chris Hoy, and an interview he once gave admitting that after his high-intensity training interval sections, he had to get off the bike and lie on the ground, unable to move.
That's definitely true, and I've never done any short-distance training at the level of Chris Hoy, of course. But that's a thing people don't see, that the shorter a race or a training, the more precisely it has to be, and the more focused you have to be, and the more difficult it is mentally. Because when you do, for example, Chris, you have experienced a 24-hour race, there you have a lot of time to find the rhythm, to go through highs, through lows, to recover again. But imagine just 2 laps or 4 laps on the track, maximum speed. Here you have, let's say, 1,000 meter to see your existence as a cyclist here. So that's a lot of mental pressure. And of course, one mistake means that you're off the first place with 1,000 fractions of a second, and which already is the difference between glory or nothing.
Well, this is so much fun, but now I'm no longer a track cycling virgin. What should I look out for when I'm watching the experts at the Olympics?
Of course, it's always amazing to watch the pure raw powers of the short distance competitions like sprint, Olympic sprint, whatever, because there you see really power. Very interesting are the pursuit competitions, at the time trial on the track, because it's very fascinating to watch. You see the technique of the bikes, that really state of the art. The aerodynamics is a big part here, and very interesting is of course are the points races where a big bunch of riders is on the track.
If you haven't tried it yet, I would really recommend giving track cycling a go. In Vienna, you can get a subscription for the stadium and ride regularly. It certainly beats sitting on a stationary spinning bike during the winter. It really is a fantastic experience.
Just keep riding. It can be that you're approaching my back wheel a little faster, so don't panic, don't brake.
I can't brake.
Yeah, but don't pedal against the direction of the crank.
The Chris Cummins Ride Guide.